Let's do a quick news update, and then we'll continue with the bee story. We have a buzzworthy episode this week. Let's get this started. Hello, everyone. Since last we talked, the Ohio Supreme Court has established the Access to Justice Task Force. That task force is charged with looking into barriers to the civil justice system in Ohio. The OSBA is well represented on the board with such members as Bill Weisenberg, John Holshoe, President-elect of the OSBA, as well as Angela Lloyd, the Executive Director of the OLAF Board. The board is to look into such issues as barriers coming about through physical, financial, and communication barriers. Their report is due at the end of the year. In other State House news, the two frontrunners for the speakership for the next General Assembly met this week in Columbus, in essence to lay their cards on the table. It appears that Cliff Rosenberger from Clinton County is the frontrunner for Speaker for the next term. Last week we promised more about House Bill 474 and the problems that bees are facing. True to our word, we traveled to Worcester to file this report. We're here today with Reed Johnson, the Assistant Professor of Entomology at The Ohio State University in Worcester. And Reed, first off, we're doing some work on bees and a bill in particular going through the House. How long have you been involved with bees?
For about 15 years now. I got started, I was just a laboratory assistant in a bee research lab in Montana, and I've kind of got into it and been doing it ever since.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize the importance of bees and what function they serve. Mm-hmm. Tell us how important are bees?
Well, I mean, everybody knows about honey and
mm-hmm.
its deliciousness, mm-hmm. But probably more important is the pollination that they do. Mm-hmm. And there are a number of crops in this country and in Ohio that rely on bees to pollinate them in order for them to produce fruit. The cucumbers, watermelons, apples, and across the country, almonds are another big thing that requires bee pollination.
I understand with almonds, but for bees, there's no almonds.
No, if it weren't for bees, there would be no almonds. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like almonds.
They're good. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens if bees? I mean, are we seeing a problem with bees right now? I mean, obviously, this bill is going through the legislature to try to bring some awareness. What are they trying to tell us?
Well, over the last 10 years, bees have just not been doing as well as they were before, and there are probably 4 different reasons for that. Mm-hmm. Top of the list is this horrible parasite they have called the varroa mite, which is, imagine that you have this rat-sized parasite sucking your blood. That's what it's like on a bee.
Mm-hmm. You're married, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. In addition to blood-sucking parasites, Reed also explained other potential causes for the colony collapse disorder, including chemical spraying, loss of habitat, and even poor bee genetics. It appears the bee gene pool is kind of shallow, not too many branches in the old bee family tree. That made us wonder, how do bees reproduce? There's 60,000 bees.
60,000, yeah.
One queen.
Mm-hmm.
What's the sex ratio in the hive? Is it all males, all females?
So it's almost all females. There are a few hundred males, the drones, mm-hmm. And they only exist in the summertime because mm-hmm. they only are around to mate with new young queens.
In the natural world, to have a queen, you've got to beat off everybody else. Is there a pecking order of the better drones?
Well, they go out, I mean, I don't know. They need to age a certain amount and then they can finally mate with the queen. They don't mate with her in the colony. They go fly, bees mate on the wing out in these...
So they're out flying
around? Out flying around in the sky and they mate up there.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Mile High Club, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Hey, are those lab coats?
Yeah, those are lab coats. So the queen bee, a young queen, goes out to get mated, and she goes to a drone congregation area where there...
Is it like a bar?
Kind of, yeah. There's hundreds of drones flying out there looking for new queens to mate with. Mm-hmm. She'll fly through this drone congregation area, and the fastest drone catches her, mates with her, and then after mating, he instantly dies because he's achieved everything he will in this world.
That explains why my wife always wishes I was a drone. We worked in the lab and finished some of the experiments before Reed decided it was time to go out and check out some of the hives. I'm afraid these bees may be mean. I'm going to have some protection. Did you get stung?
I did.
That's too bad. I didn't get stung.
Yeah.
You know why? Because
Keep
I wore
gloves
gloves. Now, if I would drop this, would they be mad?
Yeah, they probably would.
Well, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not drop it. Uh-oh.
I dropped it! Boy, that beeswax sure is slippery. We want to thank Dr. Reed Johnson of The Ohio State University for spending some time with us. He obviously knows the subject of bees. We also wish him well in his research. Bees are very important to our way of life. That's the Word on the Square. This is Todd Book with On the Books.